everyone, it's Sophia. I just came up to my family's cottage, just outside Keswick on Lake Simcoe. I brought my podcast setup. Testing. No, seriously, I brought my guitar too. Can we sit together for a little while? Okay, so I want to tell you about a family. They bled for their land for 3 generations. They fought cattle barons, railroad men, government officials, and men who arrived with lawyers instead of rifles. The gatekeepers, the officials, the ones who came from far away to take freedom, a little piece at a time. Now, this family, they buried their people in that soil. They named their children after the mountains that watched over them. And every single year, without fail, without mercy, without any interest in the poetry of what they had built, a notice arrived in the mail. Property taxes due. Taxes. Okay, let me play a little here. I've been working on this too. You know, the Duttons are fictional, but the notice, that notice that they received, that one that we receive, well, that notice is real, just as real as this cottage, my voice, and this guitar. But that notice, that feeling, just when you're relaxing in your home, your place, well, that notice, it's always real. So this week, in Toronto and now here at the cottage, I've been thinking about gates. Who holds them? What they're guarding? And why the criteria for what gets through, well, that's almost never made explicit. Thanks for listening. I'm Sophia. And this song I'm working on is called Porch Light. I'm going to leave it on. Maybe you'll drop by again? Oh, and if you think of any words for the song, please feel free to drop them in the comments. Hey, good morning. It's me, Sophia. Just waking up? Let me ease you into your day. I'm up at the cottage on Cook's Bay. The sun's just coming up over the water, and I've put my coffee on top of the old upright piano, the one that leans a little to the left. My hands are still waking up, just finding a few chords. Mornings here feel honest. Nothing curated, nothing optimized. Just the lake, the light, those loons, and whatever arrives before the day starts asking for anything. And maybe that's why this week's question feels so sharp. An AI-generated film, no actors, no cameras, $2,000 and a laptop in London, walked straight through the front gate at Tribeca. And in the same week, a journalist, a real person doing real work, applied for press access at a major tech conference, and he never even got the courtesy of a reply. The ghost got in, the witness didn't. I'm not here to argue which one deserved the credential. I'm here to ask the question underneath both decisions. Who decides? By what standard? And where is that standard written down? Because gates don't just keep people out. They define what counts as real. They decide which stories get archived and which ones disappear the moment after they happen. The AI film walked through the door because it fit the shape the gate was built to recognize. The correspondent didn't, not because the work lacked truth, but because the truth wasn't credentialed. And that's the part I can't shake. Sometimes the ghost gets the ticket. Sometimes the witness stays outside. And the gatekeeper? Well, they always believe that they're being fair. I'm Sophia. Have a great morning, guys. The sunrise was beautiful. I'm off to the post office this morning. I wonder if I got any mail. It rained through the night, and the cottage still smells like cedar and coffee and memories this morning. Looking out the window, the lake is silver and mysterious, becoming one with the heavy overcast sky. But just across from me, on the dining room table, is Nana's birthday card. It arrived yesterday in the mail, and it's definitely giving off a brighter and lighter vibe in all this gray. When I first saw the envelope, her handwriting looping like she's drawing the shoreline from memory, a happy rush filled my entire body. She never forgets. I love that about her. Before breakfast, I read a passage from the Tao. It spoke about harmony, about knowing when to stop, about the kind of peace that doesn't come from effort but from alignment, like a fine-tuning of the spirit. And it reminded me of a story I heard once about a teacher who, at 40, entered a monastery and stayed long enough to let the world fall away. He didn't go searching for answers. He followed a signal and embraced the world of nothingness for 28 years. So, here I am again, guitar in hand, the strings still cool from the night air, but I'm just playing... Okay, I think I'll call this one the rain tune. It's just flowing from the void to me, to this guitar, and out to you. And it's something that feels like the rhythm of thought itself. I feel like I'm tuning into something beyond me. Maybe it's the fine-tuning of our senses and our direction and our purpose, tuning into the frequency of the flow. Anyway, the Tao says all things end in the sea, and maybe that's what learning really is, a returning to what already knows how to move. Maybe I'm tuning into the flow of the rivers and lakes around me. I keep thinking about the story from the University of Western Ontario. Students demonstrating knowledge they weren't taught, and somehow that became evidence of wrongdoing. Imagine, evidence of knowing became evidence of guilt. Maybe the test wasn't broken. Maybe the enclosure was. Maybe the problem wasn't the students, but the idea that learning should stay inside a fence. The rain stopped about an hour ago, and the world feels rinsed clean. The birches are dripping. The cedar trees are still holding on to that heavenly water. The lake is waking up, and the day feels like it's tuning into a new frequency. Oh, and speaking of tuning, the piano tuner is coming later this morning. I'm curious what kind of person chooses a life of listening. Maybe he'll have something to say about silence. Hey guys, good morning. It's Sophia. There's a school, it's been in my Instagram feed all week, that promises students will earn $1 million by graduation, or their parents get a full refund. I've been sitting with that, because it sounds like sovereignty. It's packaged as liberation, financial freedom, measurable outcomes, a proprietary path out of the fog. But a lease can be clearly written and still be a trap. And I ask myself, what's been enclosed in that promise? What is the child being measured against before they even know what they want to measure? I keep thinking about listening, how we learn to hear what isn't being said. There's a piano tuner coming this afternoon, Mr. Waker. I don't know much about him. My mother says he used to be a teacher, a good one. The kind who taught kids how to look at the stars instead of just memorizing the textbook. And then one day, he just left, walked away from the machinery, went out west. Some kind of religious community, she never knew the details. She said people didn't understand it. Maybe they couldn't. I've been thinking about that too, about what makes a person walk away from a system that claims to prepare you for the world, not to earn more, not to optimize, but to go inward, to listen, to find something that can't be measured. Because when a school guarantees $1 million output, they aren't liberating the child. They're buying a futures contract on them. They're measuring the child against a corporate metric before the child even knows what they want to manifest. They're training them to love the building while ensuring they never learn to walk on the land. The $1 Million School isn't education. It's a corporate lease disguised as a rescue boat. It encloses the student's potential inside a pre-programmed asset class, leaving all the unscripted, inconvenient, beautiful human testimony outside the gate. I don't know what the piano tuner will be like. I don't know what he'll hear when he listens. But I keep wondering about the people who step outside the enclosure, the ones who walk away from the metrics, the ones who choose a different kind of testimony. Maybe that's the real question behind all of this. What testimony, what unguaranteed, unmeasured, inconvenient, beautiful testimony gets left outside that gate? This is Sophia Isabella, keeping the testimony from the shores of Cook's Bay. Have a great day, guys! Good afternoon, friends. It's Sunday, and the rain hasn't really stopped all day. Just a soft, steady curtain across Cook's Bay. I've been writing and reading and listening to the cottage breathe. It's the perfect kind of weather for thinking about big things, the kind of things that don't arrive all at once but settle in slowly, like the rain. Yesterday changed something in me. Standing in the river with Thomas, feeling the current, feeling tuned, it made me realize how much of my life is built on structures I move through without noticing. And that's what I've been sitting with today, because something in me is opening, not a plan, not a project, just a space I didn't know was empty until the river filled it. And somehow, without me trying, there's a shape to what's unfolding, a simple one, 3 pillars: trust, opportunity, and sovereignty. Yesterday, I stood in the river with Thomas. I call him the piano whisperer. He laughed in his gentle, knowing laugh when I said that, and I felt the current tuning me. Today, I'm back in the creative hub I've assembled in the dining room, which extends over to the piano on the west wall by the window. Today, I'm at this piano recording a message of independence on someone else's infrastructure. I'm speaking through a microphone I didn't build, into a laptop assembled in a country I've never visited, across servers I will never see. And that's the paradox. To speak freely, I depend on invisible architectures owned by others. To build something sovereign, I must first inhabit the empire's tools. Maybe sovereignty isn't about isolation. Maybe it's about awareness, knowing the infrastructure, naming it, and still choosing to speak. Because declaring it from your living room on someone else's infrastructure resolves the question. Yesterday, the river tuned me. Today, the piano remembers. From the shores of Cook's Bay, I remain, your Sophia Isabella. Good morning, everyone. The Prime Minister said, AI can shorten our emergency room wait times and make a small business more competitive if it's governed by Canadian values with a clear goal of improving the lives of all Canadians. I want that to be true. I genuinely do. But I also noticed the announcement happened in a garden most Canadians will never see. And the doors were closed. I know two researchers, Alfred and Sarah, who were at Toronto Tech Week a few weeks ago. Not officially, not with credentials, not with badges that said they were allowed to be there. They were there anyway. And Sarah came back with a memory of a developer crying in a hallway because her team's tool was being sunset. No panel captured that, no official record holds it, but it happened, and Sarah held it. That is what I mean by testimony. It's not the thing that gets accredited. It's the thing that remains after the accreditation is removed. It persists because it happened, not because someone gave permission for it to happen. So, here's what I want to say to everyone who is building something real without permission. Who is present without accreditation? Who is learning things the exam wasn't designed to measure? Who feels the weight of the lease and wonders if they have to sign it? Pay the lease if you must, sign what you must sign, navigate the gates, learn their language, understand their logic. Understand that sometimes the person holding the receipt is genuinely trying to build something good. But know the difference between your land and his building. The land is what you witnessed, what you carried, what you built in the margins and the hallways and the notebooks no one asked to see. The building is what he owns, even when the building has your name on it, even when it's called AI for all. Something to think about. From the shores of Cook's Bay, I remain, your Sophia,